Good morning. I'm Carlton Sharp, pastor of Faith Christian Center Church, and we're here on what's happening in our neighborhood. And today, my special guest is Mr. Chris Fisher from the Port of Beaumont. Welcome, Chris.
How you doing, Pastor Sharp?
I'm doing wonderful, man.
Good to be here.
Hey, we haven't been here for a while.
I know it.
So tell us a little bit about the port.
I tell you what, the port is growing. We're having record years. We've got a lot of really good positive things going on. I think the last time I was here, we was getting ready for a bond election. We're starting that, and voters approved that 2-1, and we really are proud of the support that we get from the community. We're getting ready. We're starting that project now. We're working on that big dock project.
Wow.
That support, and so we've got a number of projects that we're working on.
Now, what people need to understand is the port is an economic engine for our community.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Well, our guidance, or what we strive to do, is generate jobs in Southeast Texas. The port itself only hires about 43 people directly, but we generate about 3,000 jobs in our area from our operations, and work with our customers over the public docks and wharves. And that's just the public docks and wharves at the upper end of the channel of the waterway. And there's a lot of great things going on the waterway too. So,
you know, one of the things I noticed on your financial statements for the port that's on your website is that the port has $320 million worth of assets.
Yes.
Wow.
We've been growing that quite a bit.
Man, I mean, Chris, that's a lot.
That is a lot. That is a lot. I can remember a time not too long ago it was less than 100 million. So we're tripling in size, and we've really been blessed with a lot of growth, and I think a lot of good economic impact that we're providing in our community.
That's good. That's good. Hey, now you have some projects that are about to come up. Tell us a little bit about those.
Well, there's a number of projects. You know, when we talk about the Port of Beaumont, there's the Port of Beaumont Channel. That's about a 20-mile section of the Neches River above Sabine Lake. The lower end is the Port Arthur Channel. That channel all together third in the nation.
Wow.
And so when we're talking about public facilities on the waterway, the Port of Beaumont, Port Arthur, and then we have the ExxonMobils, the Motivas, Valeros. That is one of the largest industrial complexes in the country. And working with the Sabine Neches Navigation District, they're the channel sponsor for deepening that the channel. Our channel's getting deepened from 40 feet to 48 feet.
Wow.
We think the growth that we're experiencing in this area will just continue to grow. And that's about a 7 to 8 year project, but they're starting it this year. We're very excited about that. And that's probably leading into some of our direct expansion too. We have about $500 million worth of expansion on the books for just the public facilities at the Port of Beaumont. It's a very big expansion program for us. There's about a dozen projects in that, and that includes expansion of our Orange County terminals and our Jefferson County terminals. And part of it is the new dock that we're constructing. We're Main Street Terminal 1. We're very excited about that.
You're listening on. Hey, but before we get into all of that, hey, I want to show this report that was done concerning the expansion.
Right,
so we'll be right back right after this.
All right, super.
In tonight's Energy Matters, a more than $1 billion project along the Sabine Neches waterway will get underway in a few months to help with America's recent energy explosion.
Yeah, the project will deepen the channel, starting at the Gulf, running to the Port of Beaumont, will attract new development for the nation and allow bigger ships. William Blanchett tells us more about this huge undertaking.
Companies say the deepening of the Sabine Neches waterway will attract new development by allowing ships with larger capacities to come to our ports. The Sabine Neches Navigation District says the project will help maintain one of the busiest waterways in the U.S.
Think of it as the busiest highway in Southeast Texas. The Sabine Neches waterway sees more than 150 million tons of cargo every year.
Can't be understated how important this waterway is.
Charles Tweedle, the president of the Sabine Pilots Association, says they help navigate ships coming in and out of Sabine Pass. Right now they have 28 pilots, but are already preparing more.
And we're training 13 additional pilots because of the extra needs of the channel that we see coming.
The Sabine Neches waterway pumps billions of dollars into our economy every year, transporting cargo to energy, petrochemical, and military users. Tweedle says the waterway is 40 feet deep, making it the most shallow in Texas.
Houston's at 45 feet. I think Corpus Christi is is even more than 45 feet. It's important for us to kind of not only to catch up, but to keep pace with the size of the ships.
Historically, the waterway was deepened and improved every time that the Panama Canal was improved. And so the last time the waterway was improved was in 1962.
Matthew Kaufman, the deputy director at the Sabine Neches Navigation District, says the waterway is the largest crude oil and LNG exporter in the country. To handle America's growing need for large ships, Kaufman says the waterway is long overdue for improvements.
You'll see on these ships, they come in, there's a bunch of red paint. And that ship's designed to sit down to where there's no red paint showing. When they come into our waterway, there's a lot of red paint showing.
The improvement project would deepen the waterway from 40 to 48 feet, starting from the Gulf of Mexico all the way to the Port of Beaumont. Kaufman says the deepening would increase the capacity of the vessel by almost 50%, making it cheaper to move products worldwide.
You've got to have a way to get these energies out of the nation.
Kaufman says the project was authorized in 2014. Last November, Congress released money to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for the construction. The feds would fund 75% of the $1.2 billion project. The Navigation District will pay for the rest, primarily using local tax dollars.
That translates to increased efficiency for the owners in the terminals.
Tweedle says the project would also increase the width of the channel, allowing more room for them to navigate large ships. He expects everyone will enjoy the economic benefits, not just for ship owners being able to move more cargo. The deepening of the channel would create thousands of jobs. He believes the Sabine Neches Waterway Improvement Project is vital to keeping the future of America alive.
We've been around since 1881, plan to be around, going forward. Look forward to continuing our good service to the ocean-going traffic in and out of Sabine.
The dredging is planned to start in August. Matthew Kaufman at the Sabine Neches Navigation District says they're looking to transport over 200 million tons along the waterway by the end of the year, helping to keep America as one of the biggest drivers of energy around the world. William Blanchett, 12 News.
Wow, Chris, that was amazing, man. I tell you, to see what's about to happen in our community at the Port of Beaumont, people need to understand it's going to be big.
We're very excited about the opportunities all up and down the waterway. So.
Now, that would make us. Now, there's some incredible numbers that I see.
Yes.
Number one exporter in the crude.
Yes.
Number one exporter of liquid natural gas. Third largest refinery capacity in the U.S.
Yes.
And the fifth largest port in the U.S. based upon tonnage.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's a very powerful industrial complex that we have here, and that includes all the public and private facilities on the waterway. And it really, so there's thousands and thousands of jobs that are created from this waterway and our investment in this waterway.
Wow. Now we're looking at some footage now of all the things that are coming through the Port of Beaumont. I see some cars. I see we're keeping things moving. Then the military.
Yes. Well, so we handle a pretty diversified cargo base. We're basically a bulk and a break bulk port. So break bulk is anything shipped in unitized. So we forest products, a lot of wood pulp. We do iron and steel, a lot of pipe, things like that. We do bagged agricultural commodities. We also handle the big project cargoes, which are the wind energy cargoes. They're getting bigger and bigger. Very huge components for these refinery expansions that are going on at ExxonMobil, Total, other places. We just handle some of the largest components we've ever handled at the Port of Beaumont for Total. And then we also do a lot of bulk. We have dry bulk. We have our grain elevator, our grain terminal that with Lewis Dreyfus Commodities operating that. We have a dry bulk terminal handles aggregate that Kinder Morgan operates for us. And we diversified into liquid bulk. We diversified into liquid bulk, and that is one of our biggest growing areas in Orange County, where we partner with Jefferson Energy, and that's a very large growing facility for us to handle liquid bulk in Orange County.
And they're getting ready to do something bigger with one of the other refiners that they're negotiating with right now.
They have a number of things. They have a number of things in the work. We just approved, and I know we'll talk about public-private partnerships in a little bit, but we just approved a $500 million Actually, it was $1 billion bond resolution. We expect to issue $500 million in bonds and working through a public-private partnership for expansion on our Jefferson Energy Terminal.
Wow. Now you've been setting some records too.
Yes.
Hey, you've been setting some records. So talk to us about the records that's been set.
Well, this past year, and we're talking, when we look at just the public facilities that we govern at the top of the Sabine Nature Waterway, we've never handled over 5 million tons over those facilities. This year we handled over 6.5 million tons.
Wow.
So we not only did we set a new record, we shattered a record there. And our revenues are up significantly too.
42%, I see.
Yes. So revenues are up 40%. And what's good about that, so when the port makes money from its operations, that's money that we can invest back into the capital infrastructure of the port to create more jobs and generate more economic impact in the area. And that's, so when we make more money, that's what we do with it. We invest it back in public facilities.
Now, okay, so with the records, there comes new construction.
Yes.
And you have some capital projects that are about to take off.
Yes.
In the next year or so, or now.
Oh, exactly. So I touched on that briefly. It's so we have about a $500 million capital expansion program going on right now. That is probably going to grow a little bit to $600 million or so because these are dynamic. So particularly, the Jefferson Energy project itself is going to be about close to $500 million. Wow. So that expansion is going on, and then we've got our Main Street Terminal Wharf, which is about an $80 million project. We've got our rail expansion project, which is another $15 million roughly. We have a number of lot projects at another $10 million. We are crammed full, and we are trying to expand our hard surface open storage cargo bases to handle more cargoes like wind energy, like military. And of course, we remain the #1 military cargo port in the world.
Yeah. Wow. Yes. Wow. Okay. Now, earlier you started to mention about the public-private partnerships. So
yes. So when we do our expansions and we talk about issuing bond issues, now sometimes we bond issues that are public supported. We did one for $85 million a few years ago, and we talked about that bond election. The voters supported us on that, and that was a project that was very important to us, and the public support was very important. But we also try to do these projects and do various utilize port funds to leverage private investment, and that's the public-private partnerships. So, for example, in Orange County, over the last few years, the port spent about $50 million of money that we had made from our operations, and we got a few grants, and now that's developed into a huge terminal over there that's generated getting close to $1 billion of private investment.
Wow.
So that's Jefferson Energy. We also have a private partnership. We're operating our grain elevator with Lewis Dreyfus. So we put some funds in, they put some funds in, and then Kinder Morgan's the same way. So we have our bulk terminal with them is a public-private partnership. And our latest public-private partnership is a little bit different from us. CB&I terminal got flooded during Harvey, and we lost about 455 jobs from our community due to that, and it closed down. So the port bought that terminal. We entered in a public-private partnership with Allegiant Island Park Industrial, and they're doing fabrication, and we're still working with them, invested another $30 million into that facility. We're getting ready to dredge the berths at that facility. It'll be mostly a barge operation and do a lot of fabrication for a lot of this expansion in the Gulf Coast. So we're very excited about our partnership there to try to bring jobs and create jobs back to that terminal that was lost during Harvey. So.
Now, now, is that the same dock that was out of commission back in the Harvey that you're replacing?
Now, that's the Main Street Terminal.
That's the Main Street Terminal.
That dock was an old dock. That's going to be one of our new state-of-the-art ship docks. So we call it this. It'll handle ships over 1,000 feet long. Woo. And so we're very excited about that. We're building it so it'll be ready for the deeper channel. When the channel's deepen and we can handle the bigger ships there, it'll be very important for military cargo, but also wind energy and a number of other cargoes that we handle. Because right now, Harbor Island is our main terminal. It's pretty stressed, and we We have some other terminals we can do some business at, but it's not quite state of the art like Harbor Island. This facility will give us another facility, and it's going to be called Main Street Terminal 1. It should be completed in about 2 years. It's under construction now.
Now, I know people pass by the port and they see those big old wind blades out there.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes. I measured the wind blades. You know, you can say, well, when these wind blades are 150 feet long or 200, we're getting them over 200 feet long now. And I like to measure them in football fields. So when you can put a couple wind blades together and it's longer than a football field.
Wow.
So we put together trains of wind blades and towers and things like that over a mile long. And we move them out, ship them all over the country on trains. So
wow. And again, the port is strategically the shipping, the highways, and the railways.
And that's exactly. So what we sell at the Port of Beaumont to our customers is a logistics hub where we bring all modes of transportation together. We're close to I-10, so we've got the trucking element. We're right there. We're connected to 3 Class 1 railroads, the BNSF, the KCS, and the Union Pacific. So we have some of the best rail connections of anybody, and we're on deep water. And so, and the water's getting deeper, and it's getting deeper.
Yeah.
So that brings everything together. So we sell a logistics package because cargo is not going to move to us if it's not the most cost-efficient place for it to move. If it's cheaper for it to move somewhere else in the Gulf, on the East Coast or West Coast, that's where it's going to go. So we have to put that logistics package together to get the cargo to move through here. And when we do public-private partnerships, then we have partners that are investing here. And so when they're investing here, they're committed to bring that business here. And that's another advantage of working with them.
And guess what, Chris? That means that there's resources in our community.
Exactly.
Because there's gas stations, there's restaurants, there's hotel. I mean, all of that.
Well, when we look at economic impact, and we're redoing our numbers now, but it's several billion in economic impact that the port contributes, because we're looking at direct impact, indirect impact, induced, and that's the ripple effect from people that work in jobs, whether you work at the Port of Beaumont or you work at a job that's related to activities at the Port of Beaumont, and then you buy a home and you go to Park Del Mall or you go somewhere to shop, you know, and so it's a ripple effect, and it create that economic impact. That's what we're designed to do in our neighborhood.
And earlier when we first started, we talked about that economic impact that the port has directly and indirectly to our community.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So, and that's really what we strive to do. Job creation, positive economic impact on our community. And so we do try to operate with our taxing entity. We try to keep our tax to a minimum. We appreciate our voter support, but we try to operate as much like a business as possible. Yeah. So when we do new projects, we try to look at the return on investment of those projects, and we try to make as much money as we can and have that cash flow coming in, because then it lets us expand from our own operations and build the public assets that we make off our operations. And that's what we try to do, and we've been pretty successful at it. You know,
getting better.
The public support helps us from time to time, and so, but that's what we try to do.
And now you're governed by a board.
We are. So I work for a 6-member elected board of commissioners. I tell you, I go to these port conferences all over the country, and I think I have the best board in the country. And so we have Lee Smith, president of our board.
Right.
Louis Broussard is vice of our board. Georgine Guillory is our secretary treasurer. We have Pat Anderson, a commissioner, Bill Darling, a commissioner, and Dave Willard, commissioner. So they're the people that I work for, and they rely on me and the staff to kind of manage the day-to-day operations, and then they do the overall governance.
Now you have an interesting story when it comes down to being part of the port.
Yes. Talk about how I started there.
How you started.
Well, you know, we are family. We feel like we're family at the port. So I started at the Port of Beaumont in 1981 as a security guard. So my dad actually worked in the port. He was like, you know, not everybody works for the port. My dad worked in the port for the Santa Fe Railroad. He's doing some clerking down there, and he just said, I heard that one of those security guards was going to quit. There's an opening, and so I applied, and they said there's no opening. And so I walked out. The guy walked in and quit, and I was just a handy. And they called me. They said, "You still want the job?" So I took the job. So that's how I worked my way through Lamar University as a security guard, working graveyards, and I did that for about 9 years out there at Port of Beaumont. They made us police officers, so we became police officers. But I got to learn a lot about the port, and then I moved over. I went to school, and I got accepted to go to law school, but the opportunity came open at the Port of Beaumont, and I went back and got my MBA at Lamar University, and I was a sales rep. I was an administrative assistant, so I kind of did everything no one else wanted to do, but gave me a good, well-rounded deal. And then after I did that for several years, I was director of finance administration, and the board took a chance on me as a young man to come in and be interim, and as our port director left, took another job to be interim, and I really appreciate the opportunity they gave me, and they decided to stick with me, and I've been 17 years now.
Wow.
So I've been port director for 17 years, and I really appreciate our board and the great staff that works with me as well. We have a wonderful staff at the Port of
Couldn't do it by yourself.
No, we run pretty lean with our staff, but they're a group of people, and they do a wonderful job for me and our board.
Wow. So Chris, what's upcoming for 2020?
2020, we hope a little bit more of the same. So sometimes we have to keep our expectations real. We set such great records this year, and so sometimes I have to say, well, we can't win the Super Bowl every year, but we're going to try to win the Super Bowl every year. We're going to try to be the Patriots.
So can you give us 42% again next year?
We're going to try. We'll work on it. But we are continuing to grow. We're doing a lot of growth, and that's with this. There's a lot of opportunities for us to continue to beat those records that we set this year, and that's where our $500 million bond issue. And when we talked about that $500 million bond issue, and we're talking about public-private partnerships, there's really no cost to taxpayer in doing those type of deals.
That's good.
That's funded by business, and we leverage the port's investment in that. And so it's really private funding, creating private jobs that we've leveraged to do that, and it's really a win-win for everybody.
Man, when that 8 foot deeper comes in,
I'm very excited to see. Randy Reese and the people at the Sabine Neches Navigation District, they're a channel sponsor, and so that's their responsibility to keeping that waterway and maintain the waterway, and they're doing really an excellent job on that to keep us all in.
We done gone through a lot, and man, I want to thank you for coming to talk to us about.
Tell you what, it's always a lot of fun. It really is. Thank you, Pastor.
Hey, listen, I want to thank Chris for joining us today, and I want to thank you for joining us on What's Happening in Our Neighborhood. And we will see you next time on our broadcast.